Just first off, talk about your pitching performance on the weekend. I mean, 6-0 shutout of, Florida is pretty darn good.
Yeah. Like I talked to Willie earlier. It's real easy because I'm a pitcher that goes out there and throws the contact, and that's exactly what I did. I kept the pitch count low. The defense, was unbelievable. So when you're able to go out there and then have your team score runs in front of you, it just makes pitching that much easier.
I guess major positives from that performance. What did you do well?
I had really good fastball command early. I got a lot of quick outs and fly outs and ground outs, and that really opened up the off-speed game for later on. Getting a couple strikeouts there later in the game.
If you had any negatives, I know it's hard to find some in your pitching or in pitching in general over the weekend. What are some things that we can work on?
Just a couple mechanical things. As far as I go, these guys threw great as well. I think it's just really all about carrying this momentum, into next weekend and continuing it as the season goes on.
Okay. I guess just sort of going off that, how have you grown as a pitcher? I mean, this season and then I guess last season to this season.
I think at the beginning of last season I was pressing a little bit too hard. I was a little bit nervous.
Okay.
I feel like I've really matured in that sense. Throwing a pretty big game in Florida, it's starting to feel a lot more natural now.
Is there anywhere that you still see that you need to mature?
I just need to keep getting better, man, and that just comes from more outings, more quality starts, and stuff like that.
I know at the beginning of the year you talked about being, I guess, more of a leader on this team, especially to the younger guys. Now that we've lost some of the seniors, can you talk about that? How you felt you've grown as a leader, at least in these first 3 weeks.
I just go out there and I give my team everything I have every single time I go out there. Leading by example on the mound is something that I take pride in. So hopefully it's affected rubbed off on these guys too.
Who, if anyone last year kind of led you or mentored you through your first year as a program?
Kevin Duchene and Brian Roberts. Yeah.
I guess, do you still talk to Kevin?
Yeah. Actually, he sent me a text message after the game saying
what did he say to you?
Congratulations, keep it up, just that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Do you continue to do that with him? Back and forth, something like that. Not really. You're busy. He's busy.
Well, yeah.
They took 3 hits from you guys.
Yeah.
Did you beat yourself up over any of them, or were you kind of like, oh man, I wish I had thrown that differently because I should have?
No, not really. They were making solid contact all game. I was just, fortunate enough that they were going right to people. You're going to have those ground balls that find a way through. It's a pretty good achievement, holding that team to only 3 hits.
And then with your defense, did you talk to any of the guys that were going, man, thanks, really have my back. How do they play?
Well, they play how they usually play. Very solid defense. All the routine plays were made, and even some tough catches in the outfield. Running balls down in gaps and stuff. And those guys played their hearts out for me.
I know you guys are probably confident in this win. How do you guys not let that go to your head?
Handling success is a big part of what Coach Hartlib was saying afterwards after the sweep. He said we just got to continue to get better in practice, which we every team has to do. Championships aren't won in February, so we got a long season ahead of us, and that's pretty much what all of us are focused on right now.
Being a leader now, do you think you'll have to kind of talk to some of the younger guys, kind of reiterate that a bit going into this weekend?
I think that the team focus as a whole, is the big picture. Staying focused and getting your job done in practice and every weekend. So I truthfully think that the freshmen are going to be right there with us.
Coach had some pretty strong words for you and the pitching staff after that first weekend. How satisfying was it for you guys to kind of bounce back with this big weekend this past weekend in Florida?
Well, Coach's words were not unwarranted. You know, we really deserved it because at the beginning we were really underachieving as a staff. You know, I've said it since the beginning of the season. This pitching staff has a chance to be something special. You know, he can't really say too much about this last weekend's performance, other than he'd like to see it keep progressing throughout the season. So that's pretty much what we're feeling too.